This is an update on the life story of our daughter Ameli Sievers, who lives with Angelman Syndrome. If you haven't watched the previous video where I told Ameli's story from birth until 4 years of age, then I'd like to encourage you to watch that video first. I'll link it in the description below. I'd like to thank everyone who engaged with and who watched the first video. Thank you for your likes, comments, thoughts and prayers. A special thank you to those who donated via our Back a Buddy link. I will repost that link in the comments again. Please don't feel pressured to donate, but rest assured if you do, it will go a long way toward helping us cover Ameli's ongoing expenses. This includes her school fees, medical bills, nappies, special devices, supplements, additional tests, therapies and more. We'd also love to start saving for Ameli's future, as we know we won't be around forever. Thank you so much for helping us to help her. Thanks to the previous donations, we were able to purchase the necessary device and software for Ameli to start her AAC journey. More on this later in the video. Before I update you on how life is going, I'd like to address some things. Quite a few people commented on the previous video, and even though most of the comments were supportive and loving, unfortunately some of them were really hurtful. I have responded to those comments in more detail than I will in this video. I wanted to mention it here to hopefully avoid receiving more of these comments on this video. Many people questioned whether or not Ameli or I had been vaccinated. I will not be discussing that at this stage. I'd like to avoid being censored or blocked, as I'm trying to create as much exposure and awareness of Angelman syndrome as possible. Discussing controversial topics like vaccines might be detrimental to that cause. I would, however, like to mention that Ameli does not have Angelman syndrome because of a vaccine. She also does not have Angelman syndrome because of anything I did or did not do during my pregnancy. I understand why people might assume this, but please stop making assumptions if you don't have the facts. Secondly, I do not appreciate those who accused us of child abuse just because we choose not to medicate Ameli without trying every possible alternative first. Medicine is not always the answer, and we are doing everything in our power to avoid the dangerous side effects that might accompany these drugs. Every decision we make is always with Ameli's long-term well-being in mind. As an example, medicating her to sleep might negatively impact her brain's ability to process and learn. A person's brain needs deep sleep, not sedation, to process and develop. Having said this, I absolutely do not judge anyone who chooses to medicate their neurodiverse kids. If we did not have the support system that we do, I might have medicated Ameli as well. The only reason we are able not to give her sleep meds is because we have two amazing grannies who help us by sharing night shifts. Between myself, my husband, and the two grannies, we rotate nights. That is the only way we can possibly survive the lack of sleep. It would be much easier for us to sedate her every evening, but we don't feel the possible side effects are worth it when we have the option of sharing the load and avoiding those side effects altogether. Some of the meds that have been suggested to us by various doctors have extremely dangerous side effects. One of the anti-epileptic meds could actually cause her skin to peel completely. We were told, don't worry, it almost never happens. Yeah, sure, thanks. I think we'll pass. Apart from serious side effects, we also don't want Ameli to be exposed to milder side effects such as headaches, nausea, double vision, depression, anxiety, sleeplessness, etc. The list goes on and on. With a child who cannot communicate at all, we don't want to add all these variables. Suddenly, when she's crying, we won't only have to worry about the usual culprits like a bladder or an ear infection, overstimulation, or seizure activity, but now we'd have to rule out one of many possible side effects as mentioned above. She can't say, "Mommy, I have a headache. Mommy, my tummy hurts. Mommy, this medication makes me feel really sad." So again, we don't just give meds and trust that it will be for the best. Medication is only used in extreme cases when we have tried every possible alternative and it has failed. Unfortunately, because of Ameli's large deletion on chromosome 15, she started having seizures which we could not control with diet and supplements alone. Since the last video I made, Ameli had more seizure activity, as you can see here, and we felt the benefits of anti-epileptic meds now started to outweigh the possible side effects. As mentioned above, one of the anti-epileptics offered to us could cause her skin to peel, so that one was off the table immediately. We tried Keppra, but unfortunately that caused her to be very agitated. It also did not stop the seizures completely. We experienced such ups and downs. In our best efforts to give her a seizure med with less side effects and one that would hopefully work well for her, we had to import meds that are not available in South Africa. Of course, we had to do this at our own cost. This was extremely expensive and it took a lot of effort, but we will go to the ends of the earth to do what is best for Ameli. She is currently on a very low dose of Briviact and is seizure-free. Ameli's dad and my husband, Emil, designed, 3D printed and built an incredible pulley system for Ameli. This gives her the freedom and confidence to walk independently, teaches her to find her balance, and allows her to have fun while being safe. We started experimenting with new supplements to help her with sleep and anxiety as she was still pulling her hair. After much research, we found that the combination of NAC and glycine made a huge difference. Glycine is one of the most important amino acids in our body. It helps the regulation of cardiovascular, cognitive, and metabolic health. It also enhances sleep quality and brain function, amongst other things. NAC is a powerful antioxidant that restores glutathione levels in the body and brain, helping maintain oxidative balance in cells. It also has neuroprotective properties, reducing inflammation and oxidative damage. It also modulates glutamate levels and dopamine release, positively impacting cognition, memory, and mood. In addition to this, we also found that glutathione and taurine had a positive impact. According to a recent study, oxidative stress and mitochondrial dysfunction during early brain development may contribute to symptoms in people with Angelman syndrome. Treatment with glutathione, which naturally fights oxidative stress, can reverse some of these abnormalities. I will link some articles in the comments about all of these supplements and the benefits thereof. Ameli's ability to walk on her own has improved as well. She can take quite a few steps by herself and can even stand still without holding onto something. Her brain still seems overwhelmed with physical exertion, so she still needs constant supervision when moving around. She might be walking fine the one moment and then she might be falling over the next. Mostly, when she becomes overwhelmed, her body starts to tremble and then she loses balance and control over her muscles. She becomes very upset when this happens. We always hover around her closely to ensure that she doesn't get hurt. Ameli is still on a ketovore diet. Her diet consists mostly of animal products such as meat, eggs, cheese, and raw dairy. We also add some avocado and seasonal fruit. The ketogenic diet has been used to reduce seizures since the 1920s. The mechanism by which the seizures are regulated is poorly understood. Researchers theorize the reason is that ketones produced during ketosis may be an alternative fuel source for brain cells, providing a more efficient energy supply compared to glucose. This could help with seizures. Alternatively, both the low sugar component and high fat component uniquely alters the excitability of the brain, thereby reducing the tendency to generate seizures. Additionally, the keto diet may have other effects on brain health, such as reducing inflammation and oxidative stress. This may improve mitochondrial function and balance the level of neurotransmitters in the brain. According to researchers, the ketogenic diet may lead to a decrease in seizure frequency and intensity. The benefits of the diet may reduce the need for some medications or allow for a dose reduction, which can minimize side effects associated with anti-epileptic medications. We believe that it is thanks to this diet that we are able to control Ameli's seizures on a very low dose of Briviact. For her weight, she is currently on the minimum dose. Unfortunately, we also had to shave her hair as she would not stop pulling it out. We tried to cut it shorter, but she continued pulling it, so we shaved it off. Ameli is still mostly unable to communicate with us. As we know, this is something that most people with Angelman struggle with because the UBE3A gene on their mother's chromosome is not functioning properly. This gene provides instructions for making a protein that helps develop the nervous system, which includes the brain's ability to control speech. Thanks to the donations from strangers and friends around the world, we were able to purchase an iPad for Ameli with the required software to get her started on her AAC journey. AAC stands for Augmentative and Alternative Communication. We use the term AAC to describe various communication methods using communication devices, systems, strategies, and tools that replace or support spoken language. These tools support a person who has difficulty communicating using speech. Some kinds of AAC are actually part of how everyone communicates. For example, waving goodbye, giving a thumbs up instead of saying yes, pointing to a picture, or gesturing. AAC is a whole new world on its own, and getting started feels a bit overwhelming, but we would love for Ameli to be able to communicate with us. We believe that she has a lot to say. I can only imagine that it must be very frustrating and isolating not being able to communicate with those around you. We want to give Ameli the opportunity to learn how to communicate in whichever way works best for her, whether it will be with sign language, pointing, using her iPad, etc. We will be working hard in therapy and at home to expose her to all the different communication tools and to give her the best opportunity to learn. We have reverted back to co-sleeping as this seems to work better for her at the moment. At one stage, Ameli slept better when she was by herself. We kept the monitors on and would get up and go to her multiple times each night. However, over time, she seemed to prefer having someone close by. This resulted in us building a new bed for Ameli that allowed for one of us to sleep next to her. She still sleeps very restlessly and often needs assistance throughout the night, but she seldom wakes up completely as she did in the past. Now she might wake up for water or start to cry, but usually calms once you put your hand on her shoulder or take hold of one of her hands. Sometimes you have to switch on a light and distract her with a toy so that she can calm down. Luckily, this doesn't happen too often anymore. Ameli also needs assistance to fall asleep. It usually takes about an hour of classical music, humming, holding her hand and playing with her before she eventually gives up the fight and falls asleep. Sometimes she will really struggle to fall asleep and often skips a nap. Unfortunately, skipped naps result in more frequent loss of muscle tone, instability, and crankiness. Since we had to cut Ameli's hair, she started picking it up off the floor and putting it in her mouth. This forces us to run around with a vacuum all the time and also to run the robot vacuum every morning. We're hoping when we learn how to manage her anxiety, when she learns how to communicate, and when she gets older, she will outgrow this habit. In the meantime, we're doing the best we can. Ameli started a new school in January. Up until now, she went to a Montessori preschool for neurotypical kids. We sent her there with her au pair every day as she needs constant help and supervision. We have, however, reached a point where Ameli needs special care in terms of augmentative and alternative communication, a curriculum designed for neurodiverse kids, etc. At her new school, they are better prepared and equipped to deal with special needs. Ameli will be focusing on AAC daily, will receive speech and occupational therapy at school, will have access to a sensory room with a swing, and more. We trust that this will be the best next step for her. Having mentioned this, we also have a dream of building our own special needs school. There's an enormous need in South Africa for a state-of-the-art facility for neurodiverse kids. When I say state-of-the-art, I'm talking about a safe space that is padded with no stairs or areas where the kids might get hurt. An outdoor playground that is undercover so that it can be used all year round. A water play area with rubberized flooring for safety. A soft play area with a trampoline. Large therapy rooms with all the necessary equipment. A dark room with sleep pods, red lights, white noise for those who need it, classical music for others, etc. We do not pretend to have the knowledge and skills to run the school. We simply want to build the facility and then get the right people to run it. If we can convince the staff at Ameli's current school to move into the new facility, that would be fantastic. We're sure they would love it too. This school will not only benefit Ameli, but so many other neurodiverse kids who are in desperate need of a safe and well-equipped facility. My husband is in the process of building a website to promote this dream of ours. Once it's up and running, I will make another video to share more information on that. Thank you for watching. I will continue to share updates as we go along. I'm hoping to spread awareness and to create a better future for Ameli. Charlize, who convinced me to make the first video, hosted an Angelman Awareness Week in June last year. We're so grateful towards her and to everyone who is helping us to spread the word. Please help us by sharing this video with family and friends. Thank you so much.